In today's video, we will walk through the process of rebuilding our SL-V and SL-VXL injectors. For demonstration purposes, we are using a 4-injector manifold set mounted in a vise with 2 SL-VXL injectors on the left and 2 SL-V injectors on the right. In most cases, you may be working on manifolds mounted on a bulkhead similar to the display panel setup behind me. We will be using this SL-VXL as our example unit for rebuild purposes. There are a few differences in the components between the two injectors, however the disassembly procedure is the same. Before we begin, let's listen to our safety notice. Caution: before proceeding with any system repair, please wear proper PPE for the task, such as gloves and eye protection. Before removing any components, make sure the system is shut down in accordance with your maintenance lockout-tagout procedures, and pressure is fully relieved from the system. Begin removal of the injector by wedging a shim or flathead screwdriver tip in between the two injectors at the base for leverage. Use a socket to loosen, then unthread the adapter bolt from the injector. Remove the injector from the manifold and discard the copper gaskets. Always replace these gaskets when injectors are removed from the manifold. Give the injector body a good wipe down of any loose debris before placing in a vise indicator pin facing up. Remove the plastic cap covering the adjustment screw. Next, loosen the adjustment screw jam nut, then remove both from the piston stop plug. Use a 1 1/8 inch socket or wrench to loosen, then remove the piston stop plug. The piston body is firmly held in place by both suction from the remaining lubricant in the measuring chamber and pressure from the O-rings. Easiest way I have found to remove this assembly safely is by using a tap T handle. Before attaching the handle to the piston body, make sure the jaws are clean and deburred to prevent scratching to the surface of the pin. Firmly tighten the collar so the jaws achieve a solid grip on the pin. Slowly pull up on the assembly, being careful not to bend the pin. Give the assembly a small twist if necessary to break loose the O-rings. Piston and assembly should dislodge from the cavity. Flip the injector over to access the socket head cap screws holding the body and plunger assembly onto the bottom of the injector body. Use an Allen wrench to loosen the 2 socket head cap screws so the body and plunger assembly may be separated from the injector body. Press down on the lower body assembly to slightly compress the internal springs and relieve the tension while unthreading the screws. Remove the 2 springs out of the dispensing chamber, then remove the 3 O-rings from the bottom-emitting surface of the injector body. Lastly, remove the capped hydraulic fitting or plug from the injector outlet port if not done during the initial removal of the feed lines and adapters. Injector body has no more components to remove, so we can place it to the side. The bottom injector half is a carefully machined body and plunger assembly. Carefully pull the plunger and spring seat assembly from the body. Separate the plunger from the spring seat by sticking 2 small rods through the ports in the piston and seat, then unthread the components from each other. Disassembly of the injector is complete. With the injector disassembled, clean off any debris and lubricant. We recommend mineral spirits as the solvent of choice. Use soft nylon or natural bristle brushes on any internal components to minimize scratching. Don't forget to clean out the internal passages. Low pressure air should help clear out the bulk of the material, then flush with mineral spirits. Once clean, examine the components for any unusual wear. In many cases, the only items that require replacement are the ones supplied in the repair kit. Hard parts to pay close attention to are the body and plunger assembly and the pin of the piston assembly. The plunger assembly and body are fitted components. Too much play or damage to the surfaces will potentially cause bypass or failure to cycle scenarios. A U-cup seals along the surface of the piston pin, which may be damaged by any scratching on the pin surface. Since this repair covers the SL-V injector series, a few key differences to note between the SL-V and the SL-VXL. The first is the difference in height between them due to the difference in internal chamber size specifications. The second is the design variation between the piston assembly, adjusting screws, and the piston stop plug to account for the size difference between the bodies. The plunger and body are identical components as well as many of the soft parts. After inspections are complete, let's begin the assembly process starting with the installation of the piston assembly into the injector body. The piston stop plug and piston assembly have multiple O-rings and U-cups. For the SL-VXL, there should be 3 O-rings, 1 backup washer, and 2 U-cups. The SL-V injector has 4 O-rings, 1 backup washer, and 1 U-cup. Make sure to remove and compare each of the new components in the kit. When installing the U-cup on the base of the piston assembly, the lip seal must face down as shown. Next, remove the U-cup and backup washer from the bottom of the piston stop plug. Insert the new backup washer first, then the U-cup with the seal lip facing down into the injector body to seal against the piston assembly pin. Lastly, replace the 2 O-rings on the outer surface of the plug. Lightly lubricate the seals with oil, then insert the piston assembly into the top of the injector body. Next, lightly oil the pin, then thread down and tighten the piston stop plug. Piston stop plug torque specifications is between 14 and 16 foot-pounds. Finish off the top end of the injector assembly by installing the adjustment screw, lock nut, and protective cap. Flip the body over and insert the 2 springs into the outlet dispensing port. Lightly oil and install the 2 small O-rings and 1 large sealing ring on the body mating surface. If the body and plunger were replaced, apply 1 drop of thread locker to the plunger threads, then thread the spring seat onto the plunger. Firmly tighten, no need for excessive force threading these together. Lightly oil the plunger, then insert into the body housing port. Flip the assembly over and place onto the injector body. Orient the press port notch to the front right of the injector body, line up the 2 screw holes, then insert and thread down the socket head cap screws. Alternate threading down the screws until lower injector body mates with the upper injector body, then torque to between 30 and 40 inch-pounds. The injector is fully assembled and ready for installation onto the manifold. Inspect and clean the manifold mating surfaces to ensure they are clean of debris or markings that could cause leakage under pressure. Place the large flat copper gasket on the manifold mating surface, then set the injector on top of the gasket. Install the thin copper gasket onto the adapter bolt, then insert the bolt into the open manifold port. While securely holding the injector, thread down and firmly hand tighten the bolt. Wedge a sliver of solid material or screwdriver at the base in between the 2 injectors for leverage, then torque to between 40 to 45 foot-pounds.
With injector now installed on the manifold, you may reinstall the feed lines, purge the system, and run a test cycle to confirm operation. Hope this helps you successfully rebuild your injectors. If you have any questions about the topic shown today, please contact our technical support staff or your local area representative for assistance. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.